Picture this. You're at home, you buy something you really like. Maybe it's a burger from a fast food joint, a top from a clothes shop, or maybe it's just something you need, like a charger for your phone from a technology store. Now picture getting on a plane, taking off, travelling for a day and arriving on the other side of the world. It's a business trip and it's been a long journey. You just want some comfort or you need a charger for the region, and you see the same fast food joint, clothes shop or tech store. You go in and get the same items as before. You don't understand the language, you haven't figured out the currency yet, and yet you still feel like you had the same experience as when you were back home. So then, how do you provide and achieve a global standard? Most products aren't just products anymore, they're experiences. The experience begins from the first second of the advert you see and continues to your first step inside the store and stays with you no matter how far you go. Brands like to be consistent all over the world, so that if you're in an unfamiliar place and you see their sign, you know it's a safe place to go. And who knows, maybe buy something too. But every country is different. Take a simple greeting, for example. In Japan, handshakes are rare, fixed eye contact is considered rude, and bows are the norm. Now compare that to the firm American handshake or even the hugging common in England. In India, someone might always be coming up to you to try and sell to you. But in China, you might be left entirely to your own devices until you make the purchase. Every country is different. But a global company isn't a mere combination of local subsidiaries, it's a whole. So if you want to create a unity amongst the stores for customer experience of the product, you need to have consistency among the company itself, from those who lead to those in stores, across the entire globe. When one of the world's leading global brands approached us to embed within their customer-facing channels 6 specific values across the world, it was never going to be as simple as a memo. So, how did we do it? For starters, we broke down each of the values into both what the desire for the company was and also what it meant for each region. For example, let's imagine one of the values was considerate. From interviews, debriefs, and discussion with the designers of the framework and regional business channel leaders, it might reveal that the intention behind the value considerate is that they want the consumer to come first, that they want every touchpoint with the consumer to be carefully considered in order to incorporate what is most considerate. Great. But what would that mean to over 75,000 employees and tens of thousands of contractors speaking at least 50 languages spread out over the globe? Well, you would ask them. For any value, we conduct interviews with as varied a cast as we can get. Chief officers, stakeholders, new managers, interns, customer-facing sales staff, veteran telephone sales team leaders. When it comes to really understanding a company, everyone's views are equal. For this considerate value, we'd ask them about consideration, sure, but we would also ask them about everything related to it as well, what they think, feel, and know. From a combination of these interviews, our previous clients, and our own 30 years of experience, our accredited designers and actors with expertise in executive coaching, psychology, and performance create a series of workshops orientated around the value. For consideration, this could be anything from stop-start activities where the audience are invited to coach a participant to a better outcome with a consumer, step into shoes where the audiences have the opportunity to be on the consumer's end and experience what effect their words and actions can have. Rewriting of actual documentation that sits within the company, be that press releases or advertisements sent to consumers or other improvisational exercises. All of which encompass Sir John Whitmore's GROW model, Biff and Boost feedback, the teaching pyramid, and Jungian psychology models. And if you don't know what all of them are, don't worry, that's our job. Once we had crafted a whole series of specifically designed workshops for all the values, we then needed someone to show them to. So for this client, we were guests at their annual launch event. 100 or so senior managers, leaders, and various stakeholders from the company across the globe came together and participated in the workshops, and also met one another for the first time. Not ones to waste an opportunity, we used all of those different regions being together in the same place to conduct more interviews and gauge the different meanings the various regions would have for a value like considerate, as well as refining the workshops based upon response, reaction, and feedback. And how might we take this to the world? A travelling roadshow across the globe. We went to various specific regions to deliver the workshops to locally based members of the organisation, so we'd have to travel. And after more interviews, mystery shopping at stores and cultural lectures from both those old and new to the region, the workshops would be recrafted for the region using location-specific actors as well as our own, so the global standard is passed through the specific cultural prism. A consideration workshop orientated around reenacting a customer experience on the phone isn't going to land in Japan the same as it would in Russia if the same script or specifics are used. So there's rewriting, recasting, and adaptation. But with using the global framework, the same consumer outcome can be achieved with different participant actions. So, after launching the values and doing the workshops in all the major regions, you'd think the job would be done, but far from it. There's only so many people you can do workshops for. We can only be in so many places at once. It's not always possible to fly everywhere, and only so much information goes in from the first time. So we set up a virtual conference event and digital learning journey with available written exercises, video content, podcasts and interviews, as well as live sessions, role plays and participatory exercises. And to factor in how busy everyone is all the time, we designed an autonomously driven course so everyone across the globe can learn at their own pace. We produced updates and new content, hosted intense week-long courses, summer camps, winter camps, and reinvented activities based upon feedback and participation. After which, we handed them the keys and gave them a hub of things they could dip in and out of with a timeline built across a global clock. Yes, sometimes there were hosted sessions that could be morning for those in Australia and night for those in the UK, but it'd been worth it either way. Because if it wasn't, we wouldn't have got a 100% satisfaction rate and an average NPS score of 85, as well as having a contract extended both centrally and regionally for years to come. And even though considerate wasn't really one of their values, we still considered every single one of their needs. So when it comes to how you provide and achieve a global standard, if the answer was simple, we would have done that. Instead, we had to travel to different regions or bring them to us, either physically or digitally, so that if someone's living in Tokyo, New York, London, Barcelona or Moscow, what they might say or do might be different. But their outcome is the same and exactly what the company wanted, and the store or office or meeting feels the same. Because our global standard is to always exceed expectations. And if what you've seen is all we did for one organisation, just imagine what we might do for yours.